Paraguay is a country on the South American continent, bordering Brazil to the east, Argentina to the south and Bolivia to the north. Even though it is one of the two landlocked countries in South America, Paraguay has coasts, beaches and ports on the Paraguay and Paraná rivers that flow into the South Atlantic Ocean. That is why Paraguay has the largest navy among all landlocked countries. Its official languages are Spanish and Guarani, which is one of the most widely spoken American languages and is spoken not only in Paraguay but also in parts of Bolivia, Argentina and Brazil. Most of the Paraguayans are bilingual, since Guarani is spoken by more than 90% of the population, whereas Spanish is spoken by 87%. With a total area of about 400,000 square kilometers, Paraguay is a relatively small country by South American measures, but still larger than Germany, Japan or Norway. Paraguay's largest cities are Asuncion, which is also its capital city, with about 2.7 million people living in the metropolitan area. It is followed by Ciudad del Este, Luque and San Lorenzo. In total, Paraguay is home to about 7.3 million people. 95% of the Paraguayans are of mestizo ethnicity, which means that they have both European and Native American descendants. 5% are of other ethnicity, including indigenous. Over 96% of the population is Christian and about 2.5% do not identify with any religion. Paraguay is known for its strong agriculture, bilingualism, wide rivers, the low taxes — we will address the taxes later in this video — and Paraguay is famous for the Paraguayan meat. But as we will find out soon, Paraguay has a lot more than that to offer. Paraguay has several lovely nicknames. The most famous ones are the Heart of South America, the Land of Water, or the Island Surrounded by Mainland. Paraguay has enormous water resources thanks to access to the two rivers mentioned previously. 99.9% of the energy that Paraguay produces comes from hydroelectric power plants. 75% of the generated electricity comes from the Itaipu Dam, located at the Paraná River between Paraguay and Brazil. Before the construction of China's Three Gorges Dam, the Itaipu Dam was the world's largest one. However, this doesn't mean that Paraguay does not use other forms of energy, because gas and oil are imported from Bolivia. The flag of Paraguay, also known as the Bandera del Paraguay, has 3 horizontal stripes with the national coat of arms in the middle. The color red stands for justice, white for peace and blue for freedom. The national coat of arms in the middle shows the text República del Paraguay, a 5-pointed star and 2 olive branches, which is again a symbol of peace. The flag of Paraguay is unique because its front is different from its back. It is one of few flags with a different front and backside, alongside the flags of Saudi Arabia and Moldova. The emblem on the back shows a seated yellow lion in front of a brown pole, which is wearing a red Jacobin cap. This cap is a symbol of freedom and independence and is used in many flags and seals of different countries. The flags of the Netherlands and Luxembourg are somewhat similar to the flag of Paraguay. Paraguay's national animal is the pampas fox, and the bare-throated bellbird is Paraguay's national bird. The Paraguayan economy is the world's 91st largest, with agriculture contributing 30% to its GDP. A quite terrifying fact is that 5% of all landowners own 90% of the Paraguayan land, which allows drawing conclusions about the country's inequality. Soybeans play a significant role in the economy of Paraguay, as it is the world's 6th largest producer. It is also a significant producer of corn and sugarcane. Unlike many South American countries, Paraguay has few mineral resources and very little history of mining success. Another interesting fact is that only 4% of the Paraguayan labor force is employed in companies with more than 50 employers, which means that many people are working in small businesses. The national budget of Paraguay is very balanced, and the national debt amounts to only 25% of the gross domestic product. Paraguay's main export partners are Brazil, Argentina, Chile and Russia, whereas its largest import partners are China, Brazil, Argentina and the United States. Later in this video there will be an interview with Sade. Sade originally is from the USA but has lived in Paraguay before she moved to South Korea. Sade will talk about her journey and will provide useful information to everyone who is interested in moving to Paraguay. If you have an idea which country I should cover next, please let me know down in the comments. This video is part of a video series that covers informative facts and the migration procedure of many countries around the globe. I've created dedicated videos for countless countries worldwide. You can find the playlist linked in the video description below. But let's return to Paraguay. What are the main upsides of moving to Paraguay and what needs to be considered? As of the 2019 UN report, Paraguay ranks 119th among the countries with the largest foreign-born population. About 160,000 people living in Paraguay were not born there, but moved to this country during their lifetime. The Spanish, Italians and Germans historically are the most dominant immigration groups. Additionally, some Brazilians and Argentinians settled down in Paraguay. But what are the main upsides of moving to Paraguay? Let us start with the nature of this country. Paraguay is divided into two different geographic regions by the Rio Paraguay. The western part is very remote and sparsely populated, as one can see in this population heat map. The eastern part, however, is more populated and also more suitable for agriculture, since there is more rainfall in the eastern part of the country. As Paraguay is not that large, at least for South American measures, it is not as diverse in climate zones as its neighboring countries Brazil or Argentina. It generally has a tropical climate characterized by dry and wet periods. Since Paraguay is located in the southern hemisphere, the highest temperatures are to be expected in January and February, whereas the lowest temperatures are in June and July. In Asuncion, the daily mean temperatures range from 17.6 degrees Celsius in July up to 27.5 degrees Celsius in January. However, temperatures can get much higher. Moreover, humidity is at about 70% all year round. So you see that the climate is quite consistent throughout the whole year. Protected areas make up about 14% of the total area of Paraguay, which is not that much compared to other South American countries. Venezuela, for instance, has over 54% of its land area protected. Nevertheless, Paraguay offers a safe home for a variety of different animals. From different types of monkeys to pumas and jaguars, up to anteaters, tapirs or ocelots, numerous reptiles, fish and over 700 species of birds, including toucans, hummingbirds, parakeets and various parrots also live in Paraguay. Let us continue with the Paraguayan culture. As usual for South American countries, the culture is a melting pot of indigenous and European cultures. As already mentioned previously, Guarani is more widely spoken than Spanish. It's kind of nice that in Paraguay, both Spanish and the indigenous language Guarani coexist side by side. Sport also plays an important role in the Paraguayan culture, with football being the most popular sport. Basketball, however, is also very popular. Several famous dishes contain manioc. Manioc must be cooked properly to detoxify it before it can be eaten. The root of the sweet variety has a delicate flavor and can replace potatoes. And it can also be made into a flour that is used in breads, cakes and cookies. Some more national dishes are sopa paraguaya, similar to a thick cornbread, or chipa, which is a bagel-like bread made from cornmeal. Due to the fact that Paraguay is located in the center of the South American continent, it is possible for you to visit many other South American countries in short travel time. Another great upside of living in Paraguay is the fact that taxes are very low. Paraguay is considered as the country with the lowest tax rate in South America, with progressive rates from 8% to 10% depending on the level of income, a value-added tax rate of 5% or 10% depending on the product, and the fact that foreign earnings are generally not taxed. So Paraguay seems to be a great country for you to save some money on taxes. But what about security? Paraguay is considered the fourth most secure country in South America after Uruguay, Chile and Argentina. Because of the fact that Asuncion isn't that affected by mass tourism, the city has not become a hotspot for petty crime and scams. Among the biggest safety concerns in Paraguay are hooliganism associated with soccer games, corrupt police and traffic accidents. Another upside of moving to Paraguay is the higher degree of freedom. People who moved to Paraguay often mention the fact that they feel much freer in Paraguay than in their home country. Last but not least, the low cost of living is yet another upside of moving to Paraguay. If you live off $3,000 a month in Houston, Texas, you'll need about $1,250 for the same quality of life in Asuncion. This means that the cost of living in Asuncion is over 58% lower than the cost of living in Houston, and housing is also affordable. But in spite of all these upsides, there are also some drawbacks that you will need to consider when moving to Paraguay. Corruption continues to be one of Paraguay's main challenges. Moreover, make sure to learn some Spanish or Guarani before moving to Paraguay, since not so many people speak English. Since the wages are comparatively low, it is advisable to have a regular income stream from your home country. Paraguay is also geographically very isolated, which can be interpreted as a disadvantage. Visiting friends and relatives is not all that easy. But this also means that in the event of a potential global war, you will be very safe in Paraguay. Let us continue with interviewing Sade. When did you move to Paraguay and which city did you move to?
I moved to Paraguay in June of 2017 with my mom. We first lived in the city of Aruba before moving to Asuncion, the capital, a year later.
Why did you choose Paraguay and not another country in South America?
It's a bit of a long story on why we chose Paraguay and not another South American country, but essentially when my mom was a kid about 40 years ago, there was an exchange student that stayed with her family, and ever since he became like a brother to her and an uncle to me. And so we had vacationed back in 2015 to Paraguay to see him, to see the country. And he offered for us to live there. And at first, we weren't going to. But then an opportunity came and it was like, why not? So we upped and sold everything and just moved there and started a whole new life.
What did you enjoy most about your life in Paraguay?
In Paraguay, I really enjoyed the most learning about their culture, because whenever you go to a new country, there's always these nuances that make that culture unique. And so experiencing that firsthand and being really immersed into their culture was probably my most enjoyable thing that I experienced there. And other than that, it's honestly a beautiful country. It's really flat, but every season there's always flowers blooming, and they change from pink to yellow to purple, and it's absolutely amazing.
What did you miss most about the US?
Honestly, since we were so far away, the thing I missed the most in the US was both my family and the convenience. Because there are some things that, over the years they slowly got into the country, but like going to a grocery store, some things were a little bit more difficult to find. So that convenience that is in the US was missed, but it was manageable, and honestly, the variety of fruits and vegetables that were so fresh and organic kind of outweighed that. But mostly I just missed my family, since it was just my mom and I, and so everyone else was still in the States, and it wasn't as easy to travel back and forth to go and see them.
What advice would you give people who are interested in moving to Paraguay?
My advice to anyone interested in moving to Paraguay would be to expect things to be slower than you're probably used to. Paraguay is very much a country that does things on its own time, and for me personally, it was really challenging because it just didn't feel like I could get anywhere, and is part of the reason why I decided to move. But I would just be aware that culturally there's going to be differences, and you have to learn to embrace them rather than go against them. And I think honestly that goes for any country that you go to. But that would probably be my main advice for someone interested in moving to Paraguay.
Thank you, Sade, for taking time to join this interview. Please make sure to check out her YouTube channel, linked in the description below, where you can find videos about beauty, fashion and her life abroad. But what needs to be done in order to move to Paraguay? Citizens of most of the European and South American countries are able to visit Paraguay visa-free for up to 90 days. This comes in handy since it allows you to visit Paraguay on your own before deciding to move there. Residents of the USA, Canada, Australia and New Zealand must get a visa on arrival, which costs about $150. In case you are planning to go to Paraguay for work, there is a provisional work permit valid for 6 months, a temporary work permit valid for 1 year, and a permanent work permit that allows the applicant to live in Paraguay indefinitely. After 3 years of permanent residency, you are able to obtain Paraguayan citizenship by naturalization. Paraguay is a very welcoming country, which is why it is easy to get visas and permanent residency. If you want to learn more about the different visa types Paraguay has to offer, please make sure to check out the link in the video description below.